Imagine walking alone at night. The silence is heavy, the air cold. Every shadow seems to reach out. Suddenly, you hear a sharp sound behind you. Your heart begins to race. Your palms grow damp with sweat. Your mind floods with fear. This is the body's primal alarm system. But why do we panic even when there's no real danger? Today, we explore the deep psychology behind fear. Fear is one of our most basic emotions. It is an evolutionary masterpiece, designed to keep us alive in a world full of predators and peril. At the center of this response is the amygdala. This almond-shaped structure acts as the brain's security guard, constantly scanning for threats. When the amygdala senses danger, it triggers a cascade of events: rapid heartbeat, faster breathing, and heightened senses to prepare you for action. Your hearing becomes more acute, your vision narrows. Your body is ready to either fight the threat or flee from it. But fear isn't just physical, it deeply affects your thoughts. Small noises or shadows that you would normally ignore can suddenly feel life-threatening. In this state, the brain prioritizes speed over accuracy. It would rather mistake a branch for a snake than a snake for a branch. Then there is panic. Panic is a sudden, overwhelming surge of fear that can feel like it's coming out of nowhere, leaving us paralyzed. During panic, the amygdala senses an immediate threat, and adrenaline floods the body, even if the prefrontal cortex says everything is fine. The prefrontal cortex, the logical part of the brain, fails to calm the amygdala's alarm. The logic is bypassed by raw survival instinct. Your muscles tense. Your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. You feel a loss of control that can be terrifying in itself. Evolution made this a powerful survival tool for our ancestors facing wild animals. But today, this system often misfires in our modern environment. In the modern world, the same alarm goes off for a difficult email, a public speaking event, or even just an intrusive thought. Fear can come from many places: physical threats, intense social situations, or even our own internal narratives and memories. Social fear, or the fear of judgment, is one of the most common triggers today. It taps into our ancient need to belong to the tribe. Our past experiences, our genetics, and even our culture play huge roles in shaping how we react to the world around us. The brain has a natural negativity bias. It is wired to pay more attention to potential dangers than to positive or neutral information. Media today amplifies this bias. Constant news cycles and social media make unlikely, far-off dangers feel immediate and real. We are bombarded with reasons to be afraid. This constant state of alert can lead to what psychologists call chronic fear. Chronic fear harms both the mind and the body. Over time, it can lead to anxiety disorders, persistent insomnia, and frequent panic attacks. The body's not meant to be in fight or flight mode 24/7. It wears down the immune system and impacts our ability to think clearly. Interestingly, short-term fear can actually sharpen your senses and reactions. It can help you perform under pressure in small doses. But the problem arises when this fear becomes constant, irrational, and detached from any actual threat in your environment. Awareness is the first and most vital key to regaining control. Understanding that your brain is simply overreacting can change everything. Techniques like deep breathing and mindfulness send a signal to the amygdala that there is no immediate danger, forcing it to stand down. Grounding exercises, like identifying 5 things you can see or 4 things you can touch, help bring your focus back to the present moment. Cognitive strategies allow us to challenge catastrophic thoughts. We can ask ourselves, is this threat real, or is it just a feeling? Gradual exposure is another powerful tool. It involves slowly facing your fears in a controlled way to train the brain to respond calmly. Over time, this process reduces phobias and dampens the intensity of panic attacks, teaching the amygdala that it doesn't need to shout. Fear is powerful, and if left unchecked, panic can control your life. But understanding the biology of your fear helps you reclaim that life. Next time your heart races or your palms sweat, take a breath. Remember, your brain is just trying to protect you. It's doing its job. With awareness, you can turn that panic into power. You can move from being a victim of your instincts to the master of your mind. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the mind. Stay curious, stay aware, and most importantly, stay fearless. We should also consider cortisol, the stress hormone. It lingers in the system much longer than adrenaline, keeping the body on edge for hours. High cortisol levels can interfere with learning and memory. This is why it's so hard to remember details during a moment of high panic. Some of us are genetically more predisposed to a sensitive amygdala. It's not a flaw, but an ancient trait for hypervigilance. Understanding your own genetic baseline can help you be more compassionate with yourself when you feel anxious for seemingly no reason. Different cultures also perceive fear differently. In some, it is seen as a sign of weakness, while in others, it's a respected survival instinct. How we are taught to handle fear as children significantly impacts how we face the challenges of adulthood. We are products of our environment. Physical exercise is one of the best ways to burn off the excess adrenaline and cortisol that fear leaves behind in our muscles. Moving your body tells the brain that the threat has been dealt with through action, allowing the nervous system to finally reset. Lack of sleep can make the amygdala up to 60% more reactive. When you're tired, the world naturally feels more dangerous than it is. Prioritizing rest isn't just about energy. It's about giving your brain the resilience it needs to keep fear in its proper place. Even what we eat matters. High caffeine and sugar levels can mimic the physical symptoms of anxiety, tricking the brain into a state of panic. Fueling your brain with the right nutrients provides the stable foundation required for emotional regulation and long-term mental health. Isolation feeds fear, while community starves it. Sharing your anxieties with others often diminishes their power over you instantly. We are social creatures. Knowing you are not alone in your struggle is perhaps the most potent antidote to the paralysis of panic. Managing fear is a lifelong journey, not a destination. Each time you face a challenge with awareness, you strengthen your mental resolve. You are more resilient than you think. The shadows may be long, but your capacity for understanding and courage is even greater. Keep breathing, keep learning, and keep moving forward. The world is waiting for your bravest self. See you in the next exploration.